Okay, we were going to talk about the, as far as the parole board and their mandating you be in therapeutic community and how that's not feasible since you've been in protective custody since October the 5th of 2017, and you can't come off of protective custody because you were threatened by gang members, and how that gang activity still occurs even in protective custody.
Sure does. Well, first of all, the parole board put me off yet again because they told me I needed to complete therapeutic community. The only problem is with that is they only got very few limited facilities that have therapeutic community. And unfortunately, the only facilities I can go to, the only one facility I can go to that has therapeutic community is Bledsoe. And because they constantly swap out people there, and nobody will really recognize who you are if you're there. But it's like, I know when I go up this next April, they're going to tell me, oh, you didn't complete therapeutic community, so we're going to put you off again. I've already been put off 42 months by them. And I don't understand, because I was only supposed to serve 1 year in the county jail, and even after the district attorney general, they give me my time, and the court, they give me my time, asked for my release back in 2016, they still will not let me go. Even since then, the first time they told me they was putting me off 18 months, and then they turned around and put me off a year this last time.
So somehow the parole board is overriding a court decision.
They do it every day. They'll look, when you go in front of them, they'll say, okay, this is your record, this is what you've done, we recommend you do this or that, and they put you on for another year or two.
Well, and each time that you have been before the parole board, they have been provided a copy of your mental health diagnosis. And
right.
We have looked up the qualifications of the parole board members, and none of them have anything to do with mental health. They have no qualification to deal with someone who has a severe mental illness. And you have not been allowed to bring someone that would be a mental health advocate other than me with you to your parole hearings, have you?
It's never even been offered. They never said, well, we're going to have an advocate here for you, or we're going to bring in somebody from mental health, on your behalf. Nobody's ever come to me and asked me or suggested any of that. And furthermore, these parole board members, they were part of the district that they're from, and they was like higher up, like involved in the court system or T-ball coaches or whatever. None of them has been in a predicament to where they had a loved one or somebody that was real close to them that was incarcerated. They never had that. So they don't understand how it is. They don't understand that they're not only punishing us each time we go in front of them and they put us off, they're punishing our families also. Our kids, our mothers, our fathers, our wives, their husbands, or whoever. It don't matter to them because it's not them and their family.
Well, I know that in the years that I have been researching, and I have asked attorneys and everybody, who is the parole board accountable to? And they're apparently accountable to no one.
The only person I believe that they would possibly be held liable to would be the governor.
Well, the governor has appointed these people. That's how they get on the parole board, is that it is appointment by the governor.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So the chances of going to the governor and with a complaint about a parole board member, that's not going to work because these are his buddies, these are his pals. I know that in other places, a lot of times people are appointed to the parole board almost as a reward for helping the governor get elected. So, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So that's bogus to begin with.
Well, you don't see nobody on the parole board that's had a felony in their life or never done any time or had somebody, you don't have none of that. it's these people that's never been in trouble with the law, or they haven't gotten caught anyway. Never been in trouble with the law. Never had a family member in trouble with the law that got locked up or incarcerated. They don't know what it's like. They don't. They don't know what goes on behind these fences and these walls.
Well,
they have no clue.
I know that three of the members were former police officers, so somebody could question whether they are biased against inmates or not. You know, I'm not saying I would have to talk to them individually, but the fact that they have only come from one position of seeing the the corrections industry, and it is an industry.
Right.
And these states keep screaming about how much it costs to keep people incarcerated, and yet if they abolish the parole board, they could save thousands a year.
That's true. The thing of it is that even if you are recommended for parole, you still got to have, I think, four out of 7 votes to actually be eligible. I mean, to be approved to go home on parole. So you got 7 people that look at your case, and you got to have 4 votes out of those 7. I mean, that's like slim to none chance you're going home.
But they actually don't even review your case. They have a computer printout of your charges, which the charges do not explain what happened, why you are incarcerated.
Well, those charges, 90% of the time, are charges you've already served time on.
Right. So it's almost like double jeopardy. They're punishing you for things that you've already been punished for.
Yep. I mean, these are not. I mean, just like with Dyer County, they told me after serving a year, as long as my fines, court, costs, and restitutions were paid, that I would get a suspended sentence. Another county pretty much said, well, we're going to give you 6 years at 35% to run concurrent to Dyer County's 10. Okay? As long as I didn't seek a suspended sentence or a release. Even so with that, when they give me a concurrent sentence, that should have been a done deal. It should have been up to Dyer County when I got released. But instead of them doing that, I ended up getting sent to prison. And now, every year, I'm having to wait to see if the parole board is going to allow me to come home.
But it was absolutely ridiculous that a Sullivan County DA could handwrite something that overrode what Dyer County Court had already agreed to. We've never understood that.
Well, even when we was in court in Sullivan County, and the judge asked me if I was under anything that would impair my judgment, and of course I was, and I told him no. But the thing is, I still remember exactly what our $5,000 paid attorney Rick Spivey said. He said, "John, I just wanted to be known to the court that it's not. We don't know when he's going to get out. That's totally up to Dyer County." And I took that. And when I got back to Dyer County and started to get my release, they couldn't release me because Sullivan County had placed a hold on me that never was mentioned in court.
And never once did Rick Spivey mention anything. It was never presented in court.
About my mental illness or nothing.
Right. Right. Now, Dyer County, I will say, and I will give credit to Charles Kelly and to Philip Bivens, because Mr. Kelly did present to Mr. Bivens why that you had always done what you did.
And that's why they come up with the sense that they did, because they knew that I was wanting to take care of this and that I had issues. Right. And they was willing to let me work on those issues. But when I was sent to TLC, all that changed.
Right.
It's all, now it's like I'm lost in the system and can't get out.
And the parole board, and it was explained to the parole board that as long as you're incarcerated, that you are not getting adequate mental health treatment. What kind of mental health treatment do you receive?
Well, I don't receive hardly. The only thing I receive is medication management. That's it. I don't have, somebody comes in and says, let's get to the root of the problem. Let's find out what really has caused you to do all these things over the years. Starting at a young age. Nobody's taking the time or care about it. until I met you, and then we never knew what was going on with me until 2013 when all of it blowed up.
Yeah.
When I just, I guess I had enough, you know, not me personally, but another one inside me. And that's why a lot of people, they think I'm playing a system or that nothing's really wrong with me. Well, come walk a day in my shoes and you find out.
Right. And that's something that we'll have to do later I would like to do a video specifically talking about what it's like living with dissociative identity disorder. But right now I want to keep focus on the fact that the way that they're doing protective custody, you were threatened when you were dismissed from the TCOM program at Morgan County. You were placed on protective custody because that you were threatened by the Vice Lords and the Crips, correct?
The G's, Vice Lords, and Crips, correct.
Okay. And that Internal Affairs did come and investigate. They did say it was valid, and you have been at PC October 5th, 2017, and you were transferred then to where you are now, which is the Turner Center Industrial Complex in Only, Tennessee, which is 6 hours from us. I've not been able to even have a visit with you or see you since April of 2018, and that was for a few minutes while you were having the parole hearing. The fact that you are locked down, you don't even get out for showers or recreation on Saturdays and Sundays. They're threatening, basically they are threatening people. It's like they'll say, okay, if you come off of protective custody, then, you know, you can go out in the pod, you could take these programs, but also it puts you at risk.
Sure it does. And a lot of people, where they're locked down so much in here. I mean, we're locked down through the week, Monday through Friday. We're locked down 22 and a half hours. Locked in our cell, not able to come out. Then, on weekends, we're locked down 24 hours a day. Saturday and Sunday, we don't get to come out, period.
How does that affect you psychologically?
It's torture. I mean, it's like, because even with the TV and books and all that, it's not the same as being able to get out and walk around, breathe something other than 8 by 10 cell. I don't know, I guess that's the measurement of it, maybe, but I'll plan on finding out.
Right.
But that's all we get to do is smell the cell when we're locked down in there. And then when, like, and you got a cellmate, and when you have to use the bathroom, one of them has to roll over and face the wall or use a blanket or something to block the other person out from seeing you. And then on top of that, you have to smell this stuff.
Right.
And it's nasty. These people don't understand that. They look at us like, oh, y'all got in trouble, so, you know, you get what you got.
Well, there have been acts of violence there at TCIX within the past week or so. I know that you had told me that someone was stabbed out on the compound. Yeah. Were you able to verify if that was gang related?
Yes. Here's what happened. Unit 3 is the same unit that those officers got stabbed in I want to say 2016 or 2017. The ones some of them that had to be airlifted out of here, that was done by the Crips. And just a week or two ago, not very long ago at all, a week or two ago, they had, I guess it was the Crips, they had stabbed somebody in the same unit, Unit 3. And let's see, I think it was Monday or Tuesday of this week, another incident happened inside this unit with the Brotherhood and another Crip. Just because the Crip disrespected, you know, the guy that was the Brotherhood. You know, they look at it like, you know, you come to protective custody, you're going to be safe in here. No, we're not. They still got gang members in here. They still got affiliations in here. That's why I told, that's the reason I wrote, or told David Gary, the unit manager for Unit 5, that I couldn't come down here. I had incompatible. Well, they want you to specifically give them a name. When you say incompatible, they want you to specifically give them a name. You can't name all the gang members' names. You don't know their names.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people get hurt.
But the gang members know yours.
Right. These people will tell them, like, Major David Gary told me, he said, you can either go willingly or you can go forcibly.
So they put you at risk.
Sort of did. And instead of me saying, you know what, well, guess what, y'all going to do it forcibly, I willingly came down here because I didn't want to get a write-up. I didn't want to get beat up. I didn't want to get none of that by the officers because it does happen.
Right.
And these people don't understand that. They don't think about it. They don't, I just wish there was a way. I wish that some of these people that's on the parole board or in charge of the officials that run these facilities, I wish they could be a fly on the wall.
Oh no, I think they need to do 30 days in as part of their job requirement.
Yeah, they do too, because they had that show that come out 60 days in, and they had police officers go in there. They had several undercover people that went in there to see how everything was happening and what was going on and how people was getting contraband or who was doing what or whatever. And instead of them, when they come out after serving that 60 days, they're like, oh my God, I've got a total different outlook on these people that get in trouble. My heart goes out to them.
Right.
We're humans. We're going to make mistakes. We are. But to continue to punish people and put them off on parole for years at a time.
Especially when it's petty crimes.
And like me, I'm not a violent offender. I've never been a violent offender. I was a petty thief. And I've served most of my life locked up.
Right.
Because nobody took the time to say, hey, what's going on with you? What's wrong with you? And it's still not going. It's still not happening.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Well, with the going back to the gang members being placed in protective custody, out on the compound they have something that's called STG, and that's Security Threat Groups, which is the official term for gang members.
Right.
Okay. How do they separate them from the rest of the population out on the compound?
They don't. Everybody's mixed in together.
Okay, I know at Morgan County, didn't they have a specific unit that was STG?
What now?
When you were at Morgan County, didn't they have a specific unit that was STG?
Yeah, it was called the, hold on, I'll tell you. SMU.
SMU, okay.
It's called Secured Management Unit.
Okay.
But that was just the ones that they knew about. There's hundreds that they don't even know about.
Okay, so why in the world would you place members of a gang in a protective custody unit which mostly contains people that have been threatened by gangs?
Right. I don't know. These people, they'll put you wherever there's a bed open. It don't matter who you are, who you're with, or whatever. They will put you where they got a bed open.
Well, the fact that there was an incident in your housing unit in the past couple of days proves that the officers cannot prevent gang violence even in protective custody.
Nope, they sure can't.
And you said that Internal Affairs had interviewed everyone recently to find out where they could go, where they would not have to be in protective custody.
Know when it was? I'm trying to find out now exactly when that was, so I can give you an exact date.
Okay.
Hey, Bree, when did I come and I asked everybody where they could go? When was that? It was last week that they had come in and asked that. Okay.
Now I know that you have repeatedly told people that you could not go to West Tennessee because of that you had been cut by gang members in 2000. And so that was verified by Internal Affairs. And so they still sent you to West Tennessee.
Well, I told them at Morgan County that I couldn't come from Nashville to West Tennessee, that I could not go to any facility, Nashville and West. And instead of them listening to me, they still sent me here.
Okay.
Which is middle to West Tennessee.
All right. Now, let me ask you something. As far as, even though you were harmed by gang members, and it has been 18 years ago, does that mean that the issue will just go away?
No, because once you have a hit on you by them, then it's going to be carried out. Even like Morgan County, you know, there was a dude that was locked up in South Central during that time from 98 to 2000. I got stabbed in 2000 or cut. They never did locate the shank, but they knew the cuts were too clean to, you know, just be an accident or whatever. That's why because I tried to tell them I rode off the bump, and they wasn't buying it because the cuts were so clean. It almost looked like a scalpel cut, where you don't have no jagged skin or none of that. But no, that don't change nothing, because even then the dude at Morgan County recognized me and still told me, "Look, you're gonna have to pay me."
Why did you try to deny that you had been cut by a gang member?
Well, because I didn't at the time. I had a job there. I didn't want to lose my job at the Wilson plant, and I didn't want it to I didn't want it to retaliate against me or whatever. I guess I was scared at that time. Didn't want no. From 98 to 2000. And I even asked them to send me back out to the compound. They wouldn't do it because they knew that I had got cut, and I had a footprint in my back from whenever I tripped after me and dude had done falls. I tripped over somebody, and somebody kicked me on the way down. So they knew. They even took pictures.
All right.
So they knew.
Did this happen out in the pod, or did it happen in a cell?
It happened in a cell.
Where were the officers? Why did the officers not see that this was going on?
Well, at that time, they didn't have them in the units like that. They just had them sitting out in the court and stuff.
Are you serious?
Yep, absolutely. And now it's like they got cages in the center of the units that officer sits in and watches everything.
Okay, when an incident happens, how long does it take for an officer to respond?
Well, I mean, the other one, just the other day, it didn't take long at all. So, I mean, but if usually when people's out on break time, there's an officer always in here, constantly, because they never know when it's just gonna happen or whatever's gonna happen.
Right.
Like the grievance corporal was in here, Rambo and Taylor, I think one or two other ones, just the other day when they broke up that fight.
Okay, and I don't want it to seem that I'm unempathetic for the officers, because it is a dangerous job. I've done the job. And,
right.
You know, we had very few gang members and stuff like that. Of course, that's one of the differences between jail and prison. And
well, but you know, the incident that happened the other day, it took them like 30 seconds to get up there. Well, you can lose your life in a second.
Yep.
Somebody come out with the same cut the jugular vein and you're dead.
Right.
Just plain and simple. So I mean, it don't take but a second.
And this is the stress that you know that we live with every day, is not knowing when something is going to happen.
Yep, absolutely right.
But also the fact that the incident that had happened on the compound had caused you all to be locked down an extra day this past weekend, right?
Yep.
Even though it wasn't in your housing unit.
Right. Even then, like this past incident, we got out on Friday, and I got out Friday. I took my shower at 11:30 or 12:30 on Friday. Well, we went Saturday and Sunday with no shower because we don't get to come out. And then Monday morning, they was on their second rec time on the bottom, and everybody had to lock down because they said maintenance was coming in. Well, instead of maintenance coming in, numerous officials come in with the warden and assistant warden. Well, they shook everybody. Well, they went through everybody's cell and was taking TVs and fans and booze. Anything that went on somebody's property that they was taking. Well, after they got done, assistant warden claimed Denton, the same one that violated my constitutional rights up in Unit 5, made an announcement that, you know, since all the stuff happened over the weekend and these instances has happened, and we was being locked down with for Monday, and we would try again on Tuesday. So,
okay. So you all were punished for something that was not even in, that nobody in there was involved with.
Correct. Yep, because they had already took those people to the hole.
Do you
but
think...
they still punish everybody. That's what they do. That's what happens in here. The officers will punish everybody for one individual's mistakes.
Do you believe that being locked down so long contributed to the incident that happened in your housing unit?
When instances happen like that, it is from being locked down so long, because we don't get to come out and burn energy like we should. You know, they'll let us out for an hour and a half on Monday through Friday, and sometimes once or twice a week let us go outside. But there's no weights, there's no basketball court, there's no none of that.
So what do you do?
The only thing we can pretty much just do laps and take a shower, or play cards, or talk on the phone.
That's what I was going to ask you, as far as when you go outside, what does outside recreation consist of?
Nothing. Walking laps, that's it. They ain't got no phones out there, they ain't got no ball field, they ain't got no waves, no horseshoes, or none of that. Not like they did at Morgan County. So. Well,
I mean, it's just, tell me what's the difference between being in protective custody and being in segregation?
Well, a buddy of mine just sat here and told me, you know, even in Northeast, when you're in protective custody, you get contact visits there and everything. But at Morgan County or here, you don't get to hug or kiss your loved ones. You don't get that. You visit behind a class for how long? 30 minutes, an hour? That's it.
Well, we have always suspected that they sent you to TCIX as retaliation for me going to the press.
Right. Well, that and you know, you asked me what the difference is between segregation and what?
And protective custody.
A big difference. Segregation inmates are up there in Unit 5. They do let them come out and get a shower and stuff like that every 72 hours. Just like the other day when this incident happened, we was locked down for 92 hours without a shower. At least in SEG, they get to do their showers. You know, we was even threatened by Jason Clendenton, which is the assistant warden here, that if things kept happening and popping off,
you have 1 minute remaining.
That he was going to start taking our phone, cutting our phone privileges short, our recreation short, all that.
That's against policy, isn't it?
I don't know if that is or not, but I know this. They're punishing everybody for a few when they do catch somebody doing something, pretty much everybody gets punished for it.
And this is what the parole board condemned you to for another year.
Yep. And what I'm still having to go through, because I can't come off PC unless they send me back to Northeast.
Right.
That's the only way I can come off. And I've told numerous people that, and they're not listening. They don't care. It's not them. The classification coordinator told me, we're not moving any PCs right now, but yet I see them go out here every day. So,
well, we've just got a few seconds. What last thing would you like to say?
Well, need prison reform.
Thank you for using GTL